everyone, and welcome to episode number 4 of Coach Dell's Dugout Talk, brought to you by the Pine Room Studios. Today, we are pleased to be joined by our first high school player. We've been joined by a Division I head coach, a Division I assistant coach, and an associate scout for the Chicago Cubs. So today we have Max Molessa of Williamstown High School. Max, really appreciate you being with us today.
Yes, sir. I'm glad to be here.
Yeah, Max was the starting quarterback on a back-to-back state championship football team, and he is the starting shortstop on their baseball team, 2-time first-team All-Stater and West Virginia Mountaineer commit. So his baseball days after this spring at Williamstown High School will continue at West Virginia University. So Max, I'm sure that you're obviously excited about the spring season here at Williamstown, but even probably just as excited to carry on your career at right down the road here in Morgantown.
You bet, for sure.
Yeah, so let's talk about, first let's talk a little bit about football. Obviously baseball, assuming that you're going to play baseball in college, is football was second in your love of sports compared to baseball. So talk a little bit about football. You're the starting quarterback on back-to-back state championship teams. That had to be like thrilling for you.
Oh yeah, so it was. It started off my freshman year, really the love for football, because my brother was a senior the year that I was a freshman. So I got the opportunity to play with him as a freshman, and then talking with the coaches, getting to know the coaches. Kind of sparked from there, and then the love from football just really went up ever since. So I started loving the sport, I love to compete. So it was just another area that was tough on my body, tough on my mentality, and it was a fun sport at the end of the day. So I loved playing. I loved my seniors that I went up through with, and I love the seniors that I have each year from my freshman to junior year. The seniors from each year were really solid as well. So the camaraderie was insane and just made me love football that much more.
So you were the starting quarterback your junior and senior year, obviously. Were you always a quarterback from when you started as a freshman?
So my freshman year, I was a receiver on offense and a safety and cornerback on defense. And then sophomore year, I converted to QB and outside linebacker on defense, and then I've been a quarterback and outside backer ever since. So you played both ways. Well, most of your guys played both ways. Yeah.
When you're playing single A ball. Most guys go both ways. So you took over the quarterback role your junior year. Obviously, 2-time state champion, and I know this past season we were talking before we went on air here. Other than your game against Marietta and the other close game that you
St.
Mary's, you pretty much handled everybody pretty easily. Were the expectations after you won the state championship your junior year going into your senior year, was the ceiling real high again to win it?
The expectations here for pretty much all of our sports are, the bar is set already high. So the expectation is to already be at a state championship in each sport that we play in. In our sophomore year, we were actually runner-up there. So going into my junior year, we kind of had a little bit of fire under our stomach. Losing sophomore year, coming back junior year, we had another opportunity, coming back with some solid guys, and the whole goal the whole time was, to win our first state championship as a program from, 2014 was the last time we won it. It was kind of to get the spark going, and then senior year we were fortunate enough to go back-to-back and 14-0, which was also a school record, back-to-back, as well as being undefeated. We were the first Williamstown football team to be undefeated. So it was really pretty cool, and the coaches set a really high standard, which helped the seniors from year to year, set the bar high, keep the intensity high, and so on and so forth.
Yeah, and so, you come from obviously a small school, single A, but I'm sure the community of Williamstown embraces you guys. It's like, I'm sure when you guys play a home Friday night football game, they probably close all the stores and shut down the lights, and everybody's expected to be here. So is it a special place to be here in Williamstown on a Friday night football?
Oh, for sure. So, I mean, the atmosphere is through the roof. I mean, there's nothing like a Friday night in Williamstown. I mean, it's special. Everyone here supports the football program, as well as the other sports, but football really sticks out. When you show up, you walk out of the locker room, getting ready to play a game, you got the crowd standing, cheering, it's just a different environment here, in my opinion. I mean, the fans are all in here.
Yeah.
So it's pretty special.
So before we switch and talk baseball, which this segment is about,
Yeah.
let's talk a little bit about football. And did you get recruited to go play college football?
So I had a good bit of schools reach out, mainly my senior year this year, a few before this, but mainly just this year. And I kind of turned them all down right off the spot. Just, I don't want them wasting their time recruiting me when I'm set to play baseball at the next level. And that's really all my mind is set on, is to play baseball at the next level. So whenever I had them coming, Coach Beck would let me know, hey, so-and-so wants to talk to you. And I'd kind of be like, that's pretty cool, but, I'm kind of set. I'm already set down this road.
Yeah.
I'm gonna stay on the road that I'm on and see where it takes me.
Well, that's awesome. Unbelievable football career. Your resume speaks for itself. I went down and looked at all your accomplishments, but obviously baseball is your love.
For sure.
You're going to go play at the Big 12 regular season champions, Mountaineers.
Heck yeah.
In an incredible facility. Our second segment of this show was with Coach Randy Mazey and Coach Steve Savins down at Morgantown, and we got to go through the facility. And for you, coming from a small school like this, to go play at a Power 5 school that was a Big 12 conference champions has to be wow, is this really happening?
It was like that whenever I first committed, and really when I signed, that kind of sank in. And now it's kind of to the point where, I want to go there and I want to start.
You want to get going.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's a competition thing, but at the same time, I'm going to embrace the process. I'm going to enjoy the moments when I get them because they don't come a lot, So,
Right.
so whenever I get an opportunity or anything like that, I'm going to try to make the most of it and not really get stuck in the moment. But, I'm going to enjoy myself a little bit along the way, too.
Yeah, and it's probably good that you've already signed. You know what you're going to do next year. So this
Sure.
season, all you can concentrate on your high school accomplishments here, your teammates, your coaches, and getting that goal, possibly at least making it to the state tournament and possibly
sure.
winning the state tournament. So
For
I'm
sure.
sure having that out of the way, your signing is done. You know what's ahead. Probably means a lot to have that out of the way and prep now for your high school season.
It definitely does. Now it's all about getting better from time to time and trying to win the first baseball state championship before I go to Morgantown.
Yeah, that's exciting. So let's back up a little bit in your baseball career. We talked a little bit before we went on the air about you said you started football at a certain age, but that's going to come to an end for you. Well, it actually now has come to an end.
It has.
Unless something crazy happens.
For sure.
But you've been playing baseball now since probably 5 years old, I would assume, right?
Yep.
So take us through your baseball life up to this point. You started as a little leaguer, and then obviously your dad, I'm sure, was your mentor coming up through. So tell us a little bit about growing up as a baseball player and how you've progressed into now a Division I player.
So it pretty much started playing wiffle ball in the backyard with my dad and brother, and everything kind of started from there. I started going to little league games, started putting in work from a young age, mainly through my dad, and his love for the game kind of went over to me. Since my dad loved it so much, it was like, man, I can go along with this and hopefully love it as much as he does. And then my brother also loved the sport, so whenever we all started loving the sport really and putting work in for it, it all kind of panned out for us. So I started middle school ball, didn't play with my brother in middle school. Of course, there's only 2 years of middle school ball. And my freshman year, I got the luxury of playing ball with my brother at the high school level. We had a solid season, went to the state tournament, lost to Moorfield in the first round. Good game. I think the final score was 7-8 or something. They had a walk-off actually on my brother, but
Oh,
Yeah, but
we might have to. If he's watching this, we remind
Yeah, but
him.
he was a really good baseball player in high school, so I kind of looked up to him. Whenever we put work in, my dad was there, but whenever we would talk and talk about stance and this and that, I was kind of looking at my brother because he went to UMBC to play ball. He was committed to a Division I program as well, so I was kind of like, man, I want to be like that. I want to, being in the family, I don't want to be the one that's left out. Playing sports at high school and then going to the next level. All I had in mind was going to Division I and playing at the same level as my brother. And we go to the summer of my freshman year, and I'm playing for Bo Jackson Elite out of Columbus, Ohio. And we go to Lake Point in Georgia, Atlanta, Georgia. And, we're having a solid tournament. The guys are showing out. I'm playing with some dudes.
Pretty good players.
Braden Krenzel, some guys in Ohio that are,
really good.
Some of the best players in Ohio.
Yes.
And recruited, they're getting recruited at the same time. And playing with a lot of those guys helps you get recruited as well.
Yeah.
Pretty much for the purpose of, there's coaches there watching them, and if you perform, those coaches that are watching them are also going to see you.
Yes.
So my whole mindset was mainly just to do my thing, not, if you're playing in front of scouts differently than you play the game to begin with, you're playing the game wrong. You know what I mean? So it was kind of just to play the game the way that I wanted to be remembered. Play it with energy, play it with heart, give everything I got every play. And I was fortunate enough that Steve Sabins, the recruiting coordinator at the time, soon to be head coach, once Randy Mazey steps down, was there. Got to watch me play throughout the weekend, as well as some other organizations, Virginia Tech, and some other schools such as that. And I was fortunate enough to talk to him all. Coach Sabins gave me an offer later after summer ball. I'll go back a little bit. We played throughout the summer. I'm having conversations with WVU, some other schools. And West Virginia was really the only place that really felt like home, struck home with me, mainly because it was so close to home. During the holidays, I could pop back and forth, see family, not get homesick. And I was pretty fortunate, I felt, to be in a position to even talk to the coaches. So I was just kind of enjoying the process, not getting too much mixed up with myself. And I was happy for my teammates. They were getting the same calls. There was a lot of excitement going around in the dugout. But at the end of the day, we were all just there to play baseball and have some fun with it. So we were having fun throughout the summer, getting calls with different organizations, giving us the pep talk of what their program's about, what they have to offer, all that kind of cool stuff that all the organizations around the country have to offer. Yeah. And I mean, it's special from each one to one when you go from one to another. But at the end of the day, the one that really stuck out to me still was West Virginia after talking to all the different ones. So I was fortunate enough to get an offer at the very end. Summer ball's over. I'm out at practice, getting ready for football season, of course, getting ready to get on the gridiron. And I got a call. I don't remember the exact date, but I got a call from Coach Sabins, and he had an offer for me. Gave me a percentage and whatnot, and he gave me some time to think about it, some time to talk it over with my family. And I remember it was maybe 4 days later. I think I went ahead and called him back. I was like, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and commit. And I was fortunate enough, to have all those other schools recruit me that I didn't want to leave them out to dry. So I would text those other coaches and be like, thanks, I appreciate reaching out, giving me the opportunity to play at the next level, because at the end of the day, that was all I was striving for until West Virginia reached out. And then my goal was, I got an opportunity like no other here on the table. So I talked to my family, talked to my brother, talked to my grandparents, and they were all for it. Grant Hussey, who played at Parkersburg South, just down the road, in Morgantown now, has had tremendous success up there. And, whenever we referred to West Virginia, we kind of referred to him as well, because he was around here at a somewhat of a small school. So I got the opportunity, decided to go ahead and commit. Family was all for it. Expectations were high, and that's pretty much the so-called recruiting process.
Yeah, and going into that facility probably didn't hurt either. Going,
Sure.
as I mentioned earlier on the show, we had the pleasure of doing a show with Coach Mazey.
Yeah.
And I literally, when we walked around that facility, it was like, wow, if there's a better facility in the country than that. I mean, there may be, but to me, West Virginia's facility is second to none. That weight room and their meeting room, their locker room, the cafeteria, and then you walk out and there's the absolute prettiest field you could ever walk onto.
They just redid.
Yeah, just put brand new turf when they had just finished it when we were there. So really exciting time for you. I think it's going to be, not only are you excited for the high school season, just without that commitment, but then to have that, knowing that you're going to play at West Virginia University, you have to have an extra fire in you for high school this season.
For sure, it's definitely exciting. I want to go out and dominate and help my team win.
Do you pitch too?
I do.
Do you?
For the high school team, I will.
So you'll throw some also?
For sure.
Okay.
So I'll get a few innings in this year and see what it has. What comes to offer, I guess.
What do you sit at? What have you been?
No, I don't know what my velo is actually.
No?
I'm not sure. It's gone up throughout the years, but
Are you upper 80s, you think?
I'd like to think so. I'd like to think so, but I don't know so until I see it on the radar. But I'd say something like that.
So will you be the number one on the staff, or will you?
I'll probably be number two. We got a stud righty. His name's Ty Ott.
Okay.
And, he's got a mixed bag. I'm pretty much a fastball only. I don't got too much in my bag. I can throw it, but it's not as effective as what he's got to offer. So he's got some pitches he can mix in to make some pretty filthy stuff.
So coach is going to get about 3 to 4 innings of that heater of yours, and then you better have the bullpen ready. And then, you're not going to throw it by there as good like Tyler County and St. Mary's all night, right?
We'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see. I'm made for those games with it being rivalry. I think I could throw all.
Well, it depends on hopefully it isn't snowing either.
True.
Which I'm sure you.
That'd make it tough.
Yeah. So let's talk a little bit about. I caught something you said about when you were playing in Bo Jackson about how you play the game, and one of the reasons we're doing this show is for young players, young coaches to learn to play the game the right way. And we talked to Coach Mazey about it. We talked to Coach Goodnight. We talked to Andrew Koalo about it. What they look for in a recruit, and what you as a player, how you handle yourself on the field. Not just during the game, but in I.O., in running on and off the field. Mm-hmm. A routine ground ball to the pitcher. How do you run it out? How you take your 3 ground balls in between innings. How important to you is that part of the game of baseball? And if you were talking to a young kid, what would you say to him about when people are watching you, how you handle yourself?
Treat every rep like it's the same. I think whenever you think of taking a rep, especially in practice when it's closed doors, it's you and your dad, or you and your brother, or you and a friend, each rep counts.
Yeah.
I mean, they definitely add up. And if you treat every rep the same, then when a rep is, I guess, in game and supposedly sped up, it's treated the same way, And I think a big part of baseball, as you very well know, is mentality. I think mentality is the biggest killer to baseball players, especially when they don't have a killer mindset. And, those guys, especially in high school, you get those guys that don't really want to be there.
Yeah.
So having a mindset, especially when you mess up, coming back, bouncing back the next
Right.
play, because, especially in high school, once you mess up, we've seen it a million times in high school ball. You see your friend or yourself, like my freshman year, I know I made some errors, and I'd sometimes get down and almost the very next play, here comes a ground ball.
Yep, right. It's going to find you.
It's going to find you.
you.
So we had that, and of course, each one you learn. From each one, there's always something to learn from every ground ball you take, every bat that you swing in the cage. There's always something to learn, whether it's physically how you're doing it or mentally how you're approaching it and how you're taking it throughout it. I think it's a big part of it.
Yeah, and one of the things that Coach Goodnight, who's an associate scout for the Cubs, told us that they may only get 1 or 2 chances to time you from home to first. So you hit that routine ground ball to the pitcher or shortstop, that might be the time that they clock you going down there, that they say, "Whoa, this kid can get down the line." Whereas if you loaf and you're upset because you hit that ground ball, you might miss an opportunity to show a scout that you can run.
For sure.
So I'm sure that you have the mindset that no matter where the ball's hit, I'm gonna leg it out, because A, he might boot it, B, he might throw it away,
exactly,
and C, if it's a slow field, I might be able to leg it out. So how important is that to go 100% every a ball that you might not know whether it's in the alley or not, you're looking for 2, or that routine ground ball. How important is that you're going to give 100% in every single play?
It's important, one, for if you make the play. I mean, because if it's a tough play, especially in the infield, if it's a tough ball up the middle and you dive and you miss it, so what?
Right.
I'm going to get another chance. But if you make it, it kind of boosts your confidence a little bit. And then not only does it boost your confidence, the team around you,
right.
Guys see that energy. They see you striving to do maybe a little bit more when in practice, you're taking a grounder and you're taking it, it looks game-like. And they're like, oh, man, I want to be like that, I don't want to just play the game and just be another baseball player.
Just be routine. You want to be.
I want to play the game and set another bar. That way, when other kids around here, especially in Williamstown, see me fielding the ground ball, they're like, I want to have that level of commitment, and I want to have that level of energy in the game. That way I can have some heart behind it and make other people feel what I'm doing is right.
And also, if there's a little leaguer on the sidelines watching you play, he's gonna emulate the way Max Molessa plays. He's going to West Virginia. That's how I want to play the game.
For sure.
And that, to me, means just as much as hitting a home run or fielding ground. What a little leaguer sees how you play the game, and if you play it right, they take it home and say, "That's how I want to play." Like Max plays the game.
For sure.
Yeah. So I think obviously from the coaches that I've talked to about you, and we talked to your athletic director, that's sort of the kind of kid you are, which is, I'm sure your parents are proud of the way that you handle yourself, and it's been a big part of the recruiting process, because there's a lot of intangibles that we've talked to some of these coaches about that coaches are also looking for. How he plays the game, how he handles adversity, what his grades are like in school, what kind of a kid is he, a leader in the classroom. Obviously, we talked a little bit. You're heading next class is advanced calculus. So you obviously take a lot of pride in your grades too, correct?
Yeah. Kind of started with my brother. My brother is extremely smart, so he set the bar pretty high whenever he brought his report card home. So I'm trying to exceed in the classroom as well.
4.0?
I do not. I have a B in AP Government now. So
B in AP Government.
Yeah.
You better get on it. You better get on. Come on, Dad.
It's been that's a tough class for me, and that's another thing too. I like to do with my classes. Some of these guys, you get to your senior year and you're looking to just slide through this and that. A lot of guys, they hate high school because they feel they're just coming here for nothing. I try to make it to where when I come here,
you're trying to learn.
I'm coming to do something more than just sit around on my phone and not do nothing. I'm trying to not really dig into myself, but I'm trying to challenge myself.
Challenge yourself.
And not because it's easy to do it in sports, in my opinion, because I was raised doing sports. I love doing anything that has to do with athleticism and competing in that way. So whenever you walk in the classroom, it's pretty much the same mindset, which a lot of people I've found throughout the years don't have. They don't like to go to school. They don't like that, and I think it's kind of the way that they set up their class schedule. They set it up, with easy classes. Ceramics. They pack in as many arts and as many music classes and this and that. Whenever you can
just escape through and
when you can take 2 science classes, take AP classes, college classes. Here we're fortunate here. We have a lot that's offered to us. That gives us opportunities to advance us mentally, not just physically on the field, but off the field more importantly.
Let's talk. I want to talk a little bit about your family. You're obviously your brother. You have a lot of respect for your brother. Sounds like you emulated him a lot. You tried to be like him. I'm sure you guys had your share of battles too at the house. And
always.
And it sounds like your dad's very involved. He sounds like a baseball guy, and your mother's probably very involved also. Tell a little bit about what your parents have meant and your brother has meant to you as you're going to head on to play college Division I baseball.
My parents have been role models since I was young. I mean, they wake up early, go to bed late, and it's all so that my brother and I have food on the table, roof over our heads. So, starting at day one, there's a sense of respect that was gained right off the bat. It kind of came. My brother and I talk every day. We talk, about how thankful we are, how fortunate we are to one, have the parents, but also to have the household.
Yep.
I'm fortunate enough. My parents are together, and we get to sit down, all four of us from my brother's home from college. Eat dinner together, and just talk as a family. It's pretty cool to have parents that care that much about my brother and I, and I'm very fortunate to say that. But waking up day one when they're waking up at 5 o'clock,
yep.
And you're starting young, you aren't waking yourself up.
No, so you don't want to get up.
So when your parents come in, it's always you're dreading it. But now you look back, you're like, man, I'm thankful they did that. One, so that I'm not lazy, and two, that I start the day off right. That's a really important way. You win the day in the morning. I saw that on a quote this morning. You don't win the day in the afternoon, in the evening. You win it first thing in the morning. What you do in the morning is a big part to winning the day. And our parents, for Leewood and I, have been a big part in the success we've had on and off the field. I'm very grateful for them, to put in the hours for us. And then my brother, he's had a lot of success at UMBC. He was a freshman All-American for them this past year.
What positions he play?
First base.
First base.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I mean, he had a tremendous season. He was a stud. He could do just about anything you think of.
That's
whenever
awesome.
You think of a baseball player.
That's awesome. So who's tougher on you, your mom or your dad?
It's about equal.
Is it?
My dad on the physical side and in the classroom, more so on the physical side and the mental side. And then my mom is more on the classroom side.
Okay.
And the mentality in the classroom. So it kind of goes both ways and goes to show, when they're together, you get both sides. You get both sides of it. So.
And so did your dad coach you at all? Was he a coach? Did you play for him at all? Early on,
I played for him whenever I played basketball back way back. He coached me in basketball and football for 1 year. So he's coached me a little bit, but mainly outside of the sports, especially once I got to middle school and varsity level. It was more so the coaches at the program teaching me, me being coachable from them, not just from my dad. So
can he still throw BP?
Yeah.
He throws a good BP?
You bet.
Throws strikes?
He's a lefty.
Oh, he's a lefty. Lefty on lefty.
Lefty on lefty.
Yeah, lefty on lefty.
So it's good. I get hit every now and then, but
that's all right.
It's some solid BP.
Can he hit fungos?
Kinda.
That's not a strong suit.
Not a strong suit.
BP's good. BP's good.
BP's good, and he can hit a little bit of fungo, but
yeah. But he's been a big part of your success. That's awesome to hear. So, real quick before we close up, we're going to try to hopefully be able to hang around and watch you work out a little bit. Maybe get some clips of you working out. Tell us a little bit about your daily routine. Obviously, you get up early. You probably and like, is nutrition a big part of your? Are you into nutrition heavy?
For the most part, my brother kind of started that in me because my brother in high school was a little heavier set, and once he got to college, they don't have a nutritionist like WVU does.
Right.
So he kind of started off with, you need to focus on this, this, and this, and he set out a little bit of a timeline to show me what I could do with my nutrition as a part of, when to eat, when not to eat, when to drink. Obviously, drinking water all the time. And nutrition is really just to keep my body fueled. So, it kind of changed from time to time depending on my schedule from day to day. but nutrition is definitely a big part.
All right, so let's talk about your daily routine. Obviously, in season is a little different from out of season, but now you're getting ready to start cranking up baseball. So you obviously get up and have your breakfast or whatever you do, and then school, and you got a pretty demanding schedule. And then take us through your daily routine.
So when I wake up, right after I wake up, I have an intern in the morning. So I'll wake up, eat breakfast. And then right after breakfast, I get on the computer and do my intern stuff, which is just pretty much learning and some virtual classes that I'm taking just to expand my knowledge on the field I want to go into, which is marketing.
Learning how to handle money.
Learning how to handle money.
Handle other people's money.
That's exactly.
Make money for people.
Bingo.
Okay.
And,
all right.
So I'm learning about that. Then I drive to school, and once I get to school, I have business class, which is really just office management is what they call it, and it's us helping the teachers with whatever they need.
Right.
So on and so forth. That's my first period. I get here the fifth period. I think that's 11:40 maybe, and then at 12:30 I go into AP Government, get what I can get out of that. With
that class with a B.
That tough class.
Man.
And then after that I go to English, college English. And after college English, I go into AP Calc. And then after AP Calc, depending on the day, usually I'll try to do baseball first. That way my body's, sort of fresh. But I mix it up that way. I'm also working out first and then going to work out with my body tired, because I know my body's not going to be 100% all the time. So if I can train under pressure, kind of just under tension, under being tired,
right,
and all that
yeah.
stuff. So it changes depending on whether I do baseball stuff or lift or baseball. Just depends on the day.
Right.
And then after that, depending on what I got the next day, depends if I go home. Living an hour away, that changes. If I'm going into my intern, I may stay at my grandma's, which is 20 minutes from here. So
okay.
So depending on what I got the next day.
Probably get a good meal at grandma's.
Oh yeah, always,
yeah.
Always. So it just depends from time to time, and then if some of the other guys need help after I'm done, or when if I get some of the guys that want to work out with me, I'll most certainly hey, come work out. I'm all down for it, but at the same time we're not goofing off. That's
right.
a tough thing.
You're working
when you're in high school, because a lot of the guys they just want to say that they play baseball.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, we're trying to get better. So as long as they understand that concept, I'm all for them working out, and especially all for them if they need something. I'm definitely going to be there to help them out, and that's pretty much my day-to-day routine is, getting my classes done, seeing if my mom needs anything before I leave, getting to school, doing the work in school. That way after school I can focus on lift.
Get your work in for baseball, and that's awesome. So we're going to close here. I just want you to tell, if any young kid, young player, 9-year-old, 10-year-old, 7-year-olds watching this, what would you tell them to how to respect the game, to if they have a dream of being a Division I player, what message would you give them?
Work hard. Work hard and work behind closed doors is one thing, because it's easy to work when there's people around you, that I've found out, but when there's no one around you, that's when it's tough to motivate yourself. And what I've figured out throughout the years is, at the end of the day, you're on your own.
Yeah.
You got to figure it out on your own. So, when you wake up, you got to put together a schedule for yourself. You got to set a timeline, set your goals. And whenever I set my goals, I set them with my brother. So what we do every New Year is, one, we go through our old goals, read them off, and we usually have a quote or two in there, that we found throughout the year that we really adapted and found that we loved. And we'll read those, and then we'll make a list of our new goals. And we always set those high. So I think it's important, really, as young kids, going up through, what I didn't do was I didn't write my goals down. But I think if younger kids write their goals down, they're going to reach a lot more of them. And one, they won't get sidetracked.
Right.
Because it's really easy to get sidetracked especially throughout 4 years of high school. So I think it's important to write your goals down, and lastly, embrace the process. Just don't go through the motions. Really embrace your legacy, because that's you got the pen, you got the paper, you get to write your own story. It's a matter of how you represent yourself, how you represent your family and your community. So
that's great stuff. Well, you've written a great story here at Williamstown High.
Thank you.
You'll probably be welcomed with open arms back in this place. All your accomplishments here. Well,
I like to think I love it here.
be nice to. It's probably bittersweet that you're graduating. I'm sure you're glad to be finally done high school, but you've had a lot of great memories here, and you've accomplished a lot, and hopefully you end it with a state championship here in baseball. We'll be following you, and absolutely be following you with the Mountaineers, and excited for you, and thank you for coming on the program. It's been a great show, and I think you told some really good things to young players to listen to a guy that's worked hard to achieve the goals that you've achieved. So we truly appreciate you being on a show with us, and best of luck to you, and hopefully we get to watch you work out a little bit.
Sounds good. Thank you.
All right, Max. Great.